not enough. You have to have a system to even get to the part where you implement your system. Meaning, you really have to know your courtroom and know your jurisdiction. Know whether you're in district or circuit, or if you're trying to, plead to a judge or a jury.
Give us an example. When you go to a different county, for example?
Well, different counties work in different ways, obviously. And some counties they have different rules, and they call cases differently. Maybe there's one judge that hears certain cases and other judges that hear others. There's other counties like Montgomery, where I was this morning, where they don't really assign a judge until you get to court. They start farming them out. And really, there's no rhyme or reason to it. You almost have to sit there and listen and get a feel for what's going on to really figure out what's going on. And that's what I mean by planning ahead. You got to really know where you want to get to, and you got to plan accordingly.
Interesting. And what happened this morning? How did you implement your system, or when did you start turning wheels? Was it as soon as you stepped out of your house, of course?
I started turning wheels as soon as I picked up the phone when the client called from day one.
Okay.
Because that's really when you start preparing a case. And they used to tell me that even before I was a lawyer, they always say you start planning for your case like it's going to trial from the very beginning. And now I really know what they mean. And it's not because you don't want to leave anything out. It's because if you don't prepare for trial, the insurance companies know that there's two choices. You either settle a case, or you go to court and you get a verdict from a judge or a jury. So if you're not able to go get a good verdict from a judge or a jury, and they know that, you're going to get pummeled. You're not going to make it in this world of this kind of work anyway.
And what do you mean by the jury? Jury? Is that meaning we're going to keep it still in the district court? Because you were in the district court today.
Yeah, well, in Montgomery County and in a lot of counties, and there's different, that's what I mean. You have to kind of know where your jurisdiction is and what they do. But certain counties have certain rules for what's called a jury demand, which instead of having a judge hear it, you can have a jury hear it. And sometimes it's not your choice. If you file for a certain amount of money, and I don't want to go over the details in this because it gets really too involved. There's a lot of factors, but if you file for over a certain amount of money, the opposing side, the defense in this case, has the ability or has the option to ask for a jury trial. And you don't have a choice. If they ask for a jury trial, you start preparing for a jury trial. And it's a lot more work, it's a lot more time involved, but sometimes the results can be better too. It just kind of depends on what the case is and what you're looking for, and ultimately what your client is looking for.
And what was your client looking for today?
Well, today we had a case where there was about, I believe, $8,000 or so there was about $6,500 in bills. There's about $7,000 or so in lost wages, which we had a little problem able to prove that. This guy also had driven for Uber, so he had kind of a lost wage claim associated with his car being damaged, because as a result of his car being damaged and it was totaled, he didn't have, and he had a loan above the amount that he was paid for the car. He couldn't even go out and get a new car, thus affecting his employment, so he had a bunch of lost wages. The client was looking for the offer in today's case was $14,000. The client was just looking for something a little more. He was kind of hesitant on maybe settling because he didn't want to give that up, and we ended up getting $30,000.
Wow, $30,000?
Yeah, but he had a good case.
And how long were you in trial all day? Because it's only 2:13, and I know trial started at 8 or 9.
Well, I actually had 2 trials today, but that one lasted about an hour and a half, something like that. But it's because you really have to flesh out all of the injuries, and if you don't do that and you don't explain to the court and to the judge in this case, and I tell the clients to kind of paint a picture of your pain and suffering. The medical bills are, I shouldn't say they're easier, but it's more black and white. If you go to the hospital, you get a bill for $400, well, it's pretty cut and dry. But then if you start talking about pain and suffering money, there's real no finite amount. So you really want to have your client testify as to all that, and you really want to go slowly with that, because every element of damages you think of as another dollar. If someone couldn't sleep at night, if they woke up because of pain due to this accident, that's worth money. And if you don't mention that, you're not getting money for that.
How do you feel?
I feel pretty fucking good right now.
What do you want to tell our upcoming members who would like to sign up for these type of shadowing events?
Here's the thing, and I was hesitant about doing this because I don't, it's this. There's no guarantee any of this. I don't purport to be some guru or a professor. You're not going to get a degree out of my academy. You're gonna shadow me, which is exactly what I wish I had when I was a young lawyer. And you're gonna basically learn the system in my area anyway. And I'll certainly help you in your own jurisdiction. I'll kind of tell you what to do. And this system that I have, I'm actually looking for people to team up with me as well. I was gonna hire an associate, but then I figured, why hire one associate in one area and where I work, which is Maryland? Why not have associates all over? But obviously I'm not licensed all over.
What part of Maryland do you practice in?
I practice all over the state of Maryland. I'll go anywhere in Maryland.
All right.
But I want to team up with people who are like-minded individuals, the same kind of...
and just in the States or also...
No,
across...
all over the country.
Okay.
This is a skill set that I can teach that's very, very effective in handling personal injury claims and criminal defense claims. And it's not all about just legal. And in fact, I'm not here to teach you the legal things. You're supposed to learn that in law school. What I'm teaching is the real world things that they don't teach in law school. How to act when you go to court, what to file, what not to file. Even preparing for as much as going to the courthouse and knowing where you're going and knowing how things work ahead of time. These are all things that seem very simple, but they're very, very difficult when you're just starting out. You don't know what's going on. I'm also going to have access to all of my documents. So when I was young, I would need to file a motion, for example, and I'd have to start from scratch. Or I'd have to ask mentors and ask other lawyers, and at the time there really wasn't such thing as the internet. It wasn't that easy to pull something up. Now it is a little easier, but it's going to be easier yet, because I will have basically templates, boilerplates for you to access this bank of documents that you'll be able to modify for your own jurisdiction, so you won't have to reinvent the wheel, as it were. And hopefully you can apply this in your own practice. And then what I'm planning to do is partnering with again, like-minded individuals. I'm going to limit it to 2 per state or 2 per county, or I haven't really thought it through yet, to be honest with you. But that's a way that I think it's going to be able to have the person who makes this initial investment of just under $5,000, it could pay itself back. If you get 2 new cases, and usually someone has a friend or a relative or somebody who's gotten in an accident or gets in trouble with the law or gets a DUI, this is all stuff that you can handle even if you don't know how to handle it. I'm going to tell you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to show you what works. I'm going to show you what doesn't work. I'm going to show you that you can win a case even if you lose a case. I call it the win-win. You try to win outright, but if you can't win outright, you kind of back it up with good, what's called mitigating factors, and then you get a good result anyway, so the client's happy as well. And this applies both in the criminal defense and the personal injury arenas.